We are going to write our noun endings. First declension, second declension, and second declension neuter. I will give you the first singular for each one. You give me the rest.
Why is there oh, yeah, never mind.
Oops. And I need to move this. Move it over here. Do you need a pen? Or do you need a spare? Here, do you need? That's why I hate those mechanical pencils. They're awful.
I hate them too.
Okay, shh, shh, shh. Right. I'm giving you like another minute and a half. And that should be way more time than you need. I did give you the first one for free. Maybe next week I won't. Okay, if you're, hey, if you're done, be quiet. Because other people aren't, okay? Excuse me. Excuse me, kid. Okay, here we go. This is another homeschool thing that homeschoolers don't learn. That when you're in a group, when you're done, you have to be quiet. Like, you know, you learn this in kindergarten when you go to, because they enforce it, you know what I mean? It's like, other people are working, be quiet. And then you're trained. But I'm not saying it's, like, it's just not something you have to do at home. Do you know what I mean? Okay, here we go. I, autumn, is, us, is. Us, o, e, autumn, is, us, is, e, o, autumn, is, is. We have nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. What does the nominative case do? Boom. What does the genitive case do? Yeah. What's the dative case do? Which we haven't learned yet, so it's indirect object, which we'll be coming to in a couple chapters. Accusative.
A direct object.
Ablative. Yes, yes. Okay, very good, very good. And we have singular and plural. Okay. If you nailed them, good for you. And that means you probably don't have to practice them every day. But do them at least, even if you got them perfect today, do them at least a couple times this week, or you will start to forget them again. If you haven't got them, it means you need to step it up. If you've been doing them 3 times a day, do them 5 times a day. If you've been doing them 5 times a day, do them 10 times a day. All right? But because really, by now, I'm not saying this to be mean, everybody should have these memorized. We had all of Christmas, and this is our 3rd time back. And anybody should be able to memorize this in 2 weeks. Like, that's not, if you didn't, you're probably just not practicing it enough. Because you're all mentally capable of, you know. I'm sure you've probably memorized stuff you wanted to memorize really, really faster, and maybe more of it. So keep it up. Store it away in your minds. If you, like I said, if you got them all right, do them a couple times this week just not to lose it. If you didn't get them all right, just do it more. I told you guys last week, some people just need more repeating, and I'm one of those people. Don't feel bad if you're one of those people. That means you're like me. Maybe that's a bad thing, but I don't consider myself unintelligent. I just don't remember things very well right away. I have to repeat them a lot. So this is just the way I am. Okay, the next thing I want to do is take a look on the board together at some of these active, passive. This is kind of weird, right? So just to remind you, actually, I'm going to write 2 sentences on the board, and you're going to tell me which one is active and which one is passive. Okay? I'm just making these up right now. We're not going to bite. Don't have dogs biting people again. Okay. The mailman delivered a letter. A letter was delivered by the mailman. Okay, we will call these sentence 1 and sentence 2. Which one do you think, okay, we'll do a show of hands. Who thinks number 1 is the passive sentence? I am so happy. Oh, except maybe Bryn's.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, but let's remind ourselves of what it means, because in this case, you have to think about what's going on, right? What's the idea behind the sentence? What do you think, Christian?
Well, I think the active, it has more like action going on, like the mailman delivered a letter.
Yes. So
Like telling you that the mailman.
it just happened. So here's how we tell the difference. We find the subject. Can somebody tell me what the subject of sentence 1 is? Mailman. What is the subject of sentence 2? Letter. Okay. So in sentence 1, is the mailman doing something or is something happening to the mailman? He's doing something. Do you see how we have subject, verb, direct out? It's like the action goes like this. Like Christian said, out. It's active. He's doing something, right? The mailman's delivering something. Now look at this one. Is the letter doing something or having something done to it?
Doing something.
Well, no. Think about what's the verb? What's the verb? Was delivered. Was delivered is the verb. Is that happening to the mailman or the letter? The letter. Okay, so something's happening to the letter. The being delivered is happening to the letter. So look where the action goes. Do you see the difference between those two? In one of them, the action goes out into something else. In the other one, it doubles back on itself. So yes, in every sentence, you could say somebody's doing something and something's having something done. I mean, in this case, you would say, well, it's active because the mailman's doing something. But the mailman isn't the subject in this sentence. It's all about whether the subject is doing it or the subject is having something done. So I find myself when we're doing, I go like this, and then I realized that you might, why does she keep doing that? It's the action doubling back. It's this. I'm the letter. The letter was delivered instead of the mailman delivering. So I made up a few sentences, and what I'd like to do is we're going to turn, they're all active. I'll tell you this. But we're going to turn them into passive. And we learned that in Latin, the way we make a verb passive, maybe you guys could tell me. Here's 2 active verbs, vocat and vocant. How would I turn them, so call. How would I turn them into passive? Somebody is being called. What do I do to them to change them? We saw a bunch of these in it. I add you are. Vocatur, vocantur. That's all I do. It's the same verb that you've been seeing, you know. and it means now whatever this is happening to the subject. The subject isn't doing it to something else, okay? So let's take a look at the first sentence I made up. Aemilia Marcum vocat. Oh, I even used vocat. All right. Who's doing something in this sentence? Amelia's doing it. And what's she doing? Calling. And who's she calling? Marcus. So he's the direct object. If I want to turn it around, remember the letter in the mailman? Which I shouldn't have. The letter was the direct object. The mailman delivered the letter. And I took the direct object and I turned it into the subject. What would I do in English? You want to do it in English?
Markham was called by.
Yes. So Marcus is going to be the subject. The direct object. But now since he's the subject, I can't call him Marcum anymore. What will I have to call him since he's the subject? Marcus. Bene. Marcus. Now, Marcus is not calling someone. Marcus is being called. Let's deal with the vocat. Marcus is being called. How did we say we turn vocatur? I'm just going to put it at the end because it's often at the end. Marcus is called. In English, how would we finish it out? By Amelia. And we learned, or we saw, and it's on the little handout that I gave you, but we'll practice it. We use a or ab, the preposition a or ab. And what case do you think I'm going to use with the preposition? What case? Ablative. Because that's our object of the preposition. Ab Amelia. With the little line because it's ablative. Amelia calls Marcus. Marcus is called by Amelia. Does that make sense to everybody? Even if you might not have been able to come up with it on your own, does it make sense? Now, I don't know if we talked about this or if you've noticed when you've read, sometimes this preposition is just a, and sometimes it's ab. I would say a Marco et ab Amelia. Does anybody know why I would pick one or the other? Have you picked up on that, or did I mention it? No, that's a really good guess. It is just like a and an in English. If the next letter is a consonant, we use a. If the next letter is a vowel, we use ab. Because Amelia doesn't sound very good. It's like I ate a ostrich. I don't know why I would eat an ostrich, and I never would. Maybe I would if I was really hungry and I could catch it. But you see, we would say an ostrich because it just flows better. An ostrich instead of ostrich. And this is the same thing. This is why I said ab Amelia instead of Amelia because it's awkward. That's it. Okay. So, bene, we're going to do several more. Okay, let's try another one. How about, congratulations, Christian, you will like this. Marcus Julian Pulsat. Bene. All right. Who's doing something in this sentence? Marcus, because improbus puer. And who's having something done to them? Julia. Oh, proba puella. Okay. Marcus hits Julia. What's going to be our new subject in a passive? Julia, because she's having something done to her. And I'm going to have to call her Julia because she's a subject now. What am I going to do with pulsat? Pulsatur. How am I going to say by Marcus? Oh, it's written on the board already. A Marco. Julia is hit by Marcus. Bene? All right, let's try another one. I think I've got 5 or 6 of them here. By the time we do 5 or 6, we're going to be pros. Yes?
If you translate the and the there.
No. Oh, thank you for asking. It means by. It also can mean away from, but in this case, when we use it with the passive, it means by. Something is done by someone. The reason I talked about a and an is because the and an works the same way as and ob. We use in front of something that starts with a consonant. We use an in something that starts with a vowel. An ostrich, a candy bar. And it works the same way. But thank you for asking. Always clarify if I say something that's not clear. Okay, let's try this one. Servi sacos portant. Who's doing something in this sentence? Servi. And what are they doing? Portant. Portant. And what are they carrying? Sacos. What's going to be our new subject if we want to passive it up? Sacos. Except it's not going to be sacos anymore because it's not a direct object anymore. What is it going to be? Okay. So it's going to be our new subject, right? So it has to be on the top row. What do you think? Saki. Because here's what we're going to narrow it down. It's on the top row. Is there one or more than one? Sacos. More than one. So now we can only choose this, this, or this. And all that remains is to figure out which group. And it's sacus. Sacus. It's in this group. So we narrowed it down to this row, only the plurals, and it must be this one because it's one of these groups. You see how I did that? Okay. What do we do with portant? Portantur. We are getting very good at that. It's very easy to do, isn't it? Portant. The sacks are carried by whom? It's going to be servus. It's going to be, the word servus, but we're just going to have to figure out what ending to put on it. Is there more than one or one? Okay, it's plural. And what case do we use with a? Servis. And you know what? Aren't we lucky? It's either this one or this one or this one. Yay! No matter which one I choose, I'm right. It happens to be this one because servus is in this group, but they all, yes. So, the sacks are carried by the slaves. We follow? That was a little trickier because we have to pay attention. In the original sentence, was there one or more than one? All right, I feel like, Christian, we need to be with me. I only get you for less than an hour. So we got to make it count, all right? You got to track with me. Okay. How about Aemilia, this one's a little more complicated, et Julius, liberos, amant. Who's doing something in this sentence? We have two subjects, don't we? We have a compound subject. What are they doing? What quid significat amant?
Love.
Yes, amant. And who do they love?
Two children.
Liberos. Great. So if we want to turn this into passive, the thing that's having something done to it now has to be the subject.
The children, they are going to end with, I think it's U-S. No, an I.
Yes. And why did you change it from US to I at the end? Because there's more than one. Liberi is always plural because it means children. You know, there is no child, singular, it's children. So the children, what am I going to do with amant? The children are now being loved. Amantur. Remember, if we're making it passive, we put the on. Ab. Amelia et Julius. And what case should I put Amelia and Julius in now? Ablative. So Amelia is one of these. Ab Amelia et, which one should I put in? What should I put in? Julio. Do we see? Amelia and Julius love the children. The children are loved by Amelia and Julius. Okay, I only have one more of these, if you're getting tired of it. This one's a trick one. Yes, yes.
So, like, are those people know all of this, or did they just speak like this?
No, they just spoke like we speak. But, you know, I mean, we also speak a pretty complicated language, and we don't really think about it.
All of those on
Mhm.
when they spoke?
Mhm.
Wow. I suppose you would learn it.
Just like I suddenly put the was being or was when I turn into passive. I know to do this. You know, Amelia calls Marcus. Marcus is called by Amelia. I change the form just automatically. I don't even think about it.
People don't know how to write the stuff.
Oh, of course.
Few people would.
Oh, no.
Everyone?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no. Almost, only like the lowest class or a slave or something. And a lot of slaves were smarter than some other people because they were Greek. No. It just seems complicated to us because we're not used to it. But it wasn't complicated to them at all. You know,
Language would be complicated.
any language, you know, it's like, oh, how do they know how to do that? Well, because they started hearing it. If you had only heard Latin since the time you were born, this would all be super easy. You do it automatically. But we just haven't.
So did they have a sheet like in Rome somewhere?
A what?
Like a sheet with all these written down on it?
Well, in schools, maybe, just like we do for English grammar, you know what I mean? But yeah, just exactly like us learning English or reading English, it would be for them. Only this is what it looked like. Okay, here's the tricky one. Servi lecticam portant. In capitulo sexto, servi lecticam portant. Et Julius est in lectica. Okay, who's doing something? What are they doing? Carrying. What are they carrying? The lectica, the thing where the master sits. Okay. So, what's our new subject? Lectic. But what ending is it going to have on it now if it's a subject? Well, okay. So, okay. Let's see. Look at this ending, and you tell me which of these groups it belongs in. It's feminine. It's got to be feminine. So it's one of these. And how do I make it the subject? Lectica. There it is. Does everybody see how I did that? Has to be in this group. That's the only place there's ever an Lectica. All right. What do I do with portant? You would love to, but think about it. How many are there? One. How do and portant means more than one. How do I say only one is being carried? How would if I wanted to change this, look here, from plural to singular, what would I do? Portatur. I have to make it singular because it's only one thing being carried. This is the tricky part. And who's carrying it? Okay. By. And what ending should I put on it? This is another easy answer. Servis, because that's the only choice for ablative and plural. Okay, beautiful. Does this help? Does it make sense? Do you see what's going on? Even if you couldn't just switch it up for me? if you see what's going on, bene, bene. If you understand how it works. They're pairs, right? And the direct object becomes our subject. Maybe next week we'll do some the other direction. Okay, here's what I'd like to do next. Could everybody get out the sheet I gave you last week? The chapter 6 Via Latina sheet. And I just wanted to look at a couple more things that show up in this chapter. Maybe just actually, you know what? Keep this out. Would you please keep this sheet out? But let's just go straight to our Familia Romana book. And could somebody help me figure out how far we read last week together? I read part of it, and I think I remember it was kind of the boring part. It was here's all the roads.
I think it was we just read the part about the roads, and then we didn't go to the next.
We didn't start this page at all? Okay, we are going to start on page 42, and we're going to work our way together, and then I'm going to stop, and if there's something that I want to highlight, we'll stop and we'll take a look at it, okay? Is everybody finding my videos that I made for you?
Yeah.
Okay, because I told do it with my video first, and do it with my video more than once. They're not public. You know, I send everybody the link to the playlist at the beginning of the year if you saved it to your favorites. But if you can't find it or you lose the link, just ask me, okay? And I will send it again. But I tried to stop and explain things, and I draw things on a whiteboard, okay? It's like I can be there with you. I don't expect you to just, like me, read a few sentences and you to go home and pick up your book and, oh, I'm just reading through the chapter. I gave that to you to help you, okay? But let's start at the top of page 42. We have a picture so we can see what's going on. Here we go. Villa Julii est prope tusculum. Est prope. Non est procul, est prope. Est tusculum, est villa Julii, est prope. Bene? Bene? Intelligitis? Do y'all understand? Ab opido tusculo, ad villam Julii non longa via est. Non est longa via. Ecce. Est villa Julii. Est villa Julii. Est tusculum. Est via. Est via. Est via. Est Julius. Est Julius. Okay. I know. Villa. Ad. Non est. Ab opido tusculo. Ad villam. Ab, odd. Intelligitis? Ab, odd. Non est ad villa. It's a prepositional phrase. Est ad villam. Cool. This is another, now you find out that Mrs. Ferguson lied to you. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. If you would look on the last page of these 3 pages that I gave you. In the middle, it says, prepositions with accusative. What? What? Yes. These are prepositions that don't use the ablative, they use the accusative. Ab, away from, uses the ablative, opidotusculo. Ad, to or towards, uses the accusative. Right now, do you need to sit and memorize all of these prepositions? No, you don't. You will use them enough times that eventually you'll realize that, oh, odd takes the accusative. But I want to point it out to you because you might wonder. It's like, wait a minute, I think this is saying that the road from the town to the villa isn't long. But to the villa, that's a prepositional phrase. Well, why is it not ablative? Because odd takes the accusative. So don't be freaked out when you find some prepositions. And if you're not sure what the preposition means, remember you have the sheet. Okay? Hopefully everybody should have worked through this chapter, as much of it as you can, as many times as you can. So you should have run into these things. But sometimes it doesn't register with you that something weird is going on there. Okay. Does everybody understand? Via non es longa. Via ab opidotusculo ad villam Julii. Ecce. In pictura. Ecce. Julius et quator servi in via. Julius ab opido ad villam suam eat. Dominus et servi ab opido ad villam eunt. Julius eat. Julius et servi eunt. Eat, eunt. Dominus in lectica est. Duo servi, lecticam cum domino portant. Duo servi portant lecticam. Lecticam cum domino. It is dominus est in lectica. Servi portant lecticam cum domino. Servi qui lecticam portant sunt Ursus et Davus, in pictura. Ursus et Davus portant lecticam. Intelligitis? Bene? Julius non in via ambulat. Servi eum portant. Dominus non ambulat. Est Dominus. Imperat servis, portate me. Non ambulat. Servi ambulant. Dominus non ambulat. Cyrus et Leander ambulant. Cyrus sacum portat. Et Leander quoque sacum portat. In pictura est Cyrus et Leander et portant saccos. Nescimus, we don't know.
Will we find out?
Bene, vera credicis. And you should know this if you work through the chapter, but maybe you didn't get to the end. Okay. Cyrus et Leander duo saccos in umeris portant. Quid est umerus? Est umerus. Servi portant saccos in umeris. Oh. Sicut velut a Santa. Santa Clausus. Portat sacum in humeris.
Got some coal this year.
What?
I got some coal for Christmas this year.
Tu es probus puer. Bene, bene. Intelligitis. When I ask that, I mean, do y'all understand? Intelligitis. Bene, bene. Saci, quos Cyrus et Leander portant magni sunt. Saci sunt magni. Sed sacus quim Cyrus portat, non tam magnus est, quam sacus Leandri. Bene, bene. Saci sunt magni. Saci sunt magni. Sed sacus Syri non tam magnus est, quam sacus Leandri. Leandri portat magnum sacum. Cyrus portat sacum est magnum, non tam magnum. Bene. Which slave then is working harder? Leander, he's the heavier sack. Bene, bene, bene. Quator servi dominum et duos sacos ab opido ad vilum vehunt. Vehunt est portant. Est vehunt. Bene. Intelligitis? Est bene? Bene, bene. Quis tempus. Julius inlecta est inter ursum et davum. Est ursus, est davus, dominus est inter. Bene, bene, recte dicis, bene. Ursus est ante Julium. Sum Julius. Ecce. Sum Julius. Ursus est ante Julium. Davus post eam est. Ante post. Intelligitis? Cyrus et Leander non ante lecticam, sed post lecticam ambulant. In pictura. Ursus est ante lecticam, Davus est post lecticam, et Cyrus et Leander quoque sunt post lecticam. Veni ne Julius a villa? Non a villa venit. Unde venit Julius? Unde? Ab opido. Unde? Ab opido. Quo it Julius? Ad villam. Unde et quo. Difficile est. Unde et quo. As Julius. I know in the story he's being carried, but we're just humor me, okay? Because I'm not going to try to draw all that lectica and him in Senate. Okay. Julius it ab opido ad villam. Bene? Intelligitis? Unde venit Julius? Ab opido. Unde? Ab opido. Quo? Ad villam. Unde? Ab opido. Quo? Ad villam. Quid est unde et quo, do you think? What do you think it means? If the answer to unde est ab opido. Well, if I ask, what question would I ask if the answer is from the town? Well, the answer is from the town. What question could you ask? And the question is from the town. Where'd he come from? Bene. Unde? Ab upido. Quo ad villam. Quid quo?
Going, where is he going?
And to where? To the villa. Intelligitis? Unde? This is how we can kind of get the clues. The question's unde, like I don't know what unde means, but the answer is from the town. We know unde venit, he's coming from the town. From where? Quo? To where? Ad villam. He's going this direction, right? Which is why they keep telling you ab opido ad villam. It's going this way. Now, Julia's making a little frowny face. And is it possibly because ab and ad look so much alike? Yeah, okay, I'm with you there. I think that it might help you remember the difference if we remember two words that we have already met. Abest and adest. Right? Abest, medus abest, it means he's not there, he's away. So ab means away. Adest means he's there. So ad means to be present, to be there. So it's not exactly the same, but they're related. So if we have trouble, ab, ad, I don't know which one is which. Especially because we're also using a and ab for our passive sentences, and it means somebody did something. Something was done by someone. Bene. Hang on. We've got like 10 more minutes, and then we're going to have to shut it down. But I want to get as far as we can. Okay. Post eum est Julius. Post eum est Tusculum. Ante eum est Villa. Post, ante. Intelligitis? Julius solus non est. Nam quator servi. Apud eum sunt. Apud. Apud est cum eo. Apud eum cum eo est similis. Medus non est apud dominum. Medus non est cum domino. Nam is, it est medus, dominum eratum timet. Yes. Medus est malus servus, qui numos domini in saculo suo habet. Oh, medus habet numos. Cuius numos? Numos domini in saculo suo. Dominus servus malos baculo verberat. Itaque servi mali dominum et baculum eos tement. Servi tement baculum cur quia dominus verberat eos. Davus autem bonus servus est, neque is medum amat. Davus est bonus servus, medus est malus servus, et davus medum non amat. Davus, mede, non amat medum, cur quia medus est malus servus, et davus est probus bonus servus, non amat medum. Davus amicus medi non est. Davus non est amicus medi. Nam servus bonus et servus malus non amici, sed inimici sunt. Inimici. Amici. Salve. Inimici. Ite. Inimici. Davus et medus inimici sunt. Non sunt amici, sed inimici. Medus est inimicus davi. Oh, ursus autem amicus davi est. Oh, ursus et davus sunt amici. Hey, salve, urse, oh, salve, dave, sunt amici. Davus et medus non sunt amici. Intelligitis? Bene, bene. Medus ab est. A domino suo. Esne in opido tusculo? Esne medus in opido tusculo? Medus tusculi non est. Tusculi est in tusculo. In tusculo. Medus non est tusculi. Neque Romae in Roma est medus, sed in via Latina inter Romam et Tusculum. Oh. Bene. Est. Oh, why did I erase Tusculum? Why did I erase Tusculum? All right. Est Tusculum est Roma. Bene, bene. Est via. Est medus. He looks mean because he's bad. Well, actually, he looks happy because he's running away and he thinks it's going to be good. And he has a little sack full of money. Okay, all right. Est medus. Medus non est.
Just draw a picture of Ulysses chasing him with a stick.
That would be good, but we don't have time. Okay. Medus non est Tusculi. It is in Tusculo, non est. Medus non est Romae. It is in Roma, non est. Ubi est medus? In via inter Tusculum et Roma. Bene, bene. Medus est hic. Unde venit medus? Unde Tusculo venit. Neque is ad villa Mulii it. Oh, est villa Mulii. Non it ad villa Mulii, cur timet dominum et baculum. Non venit hic. Quo it medus Romam it. Tusculum post eam est, ante eam est Roma. Medus via Latina est via Latina. Via Latina. Tusculo Romam ambulat. Now, time we have left, I do have a little assignment for you too, but I want to show you something in this. Look in the margin here. Does everybody see the circles? Yeah. The weird circles? Okay. Take a look at what they're indicating. Look at A. A is someone who's actually in Rome, right? The circle is Rome, and A is just the guy sitting in Rome. So we say Romae, in Rome. In Rome. Instead of in Roma, they say Romae. If your position is A, see below it says Romae est. In Rome. Look where B is. Tusculi. Tusculi est. Notice these are the same endings as genitive. They're not actually genitive endings, but Romae, Tusculi, they're the same endings. I'll tell you more about them later. Now look at C. Look at person C and what they're doing. Where are they going away from? And where are they going to? To them. So look at number C, or letter C, the description. Roma, it's in the ablative. Tusculum, it's in the accusative. Then look at D. D is going the opposite direction. Romam, accusative. Tusculo, ablative. Here's the deal, guys. Whenever there's moving around involved. Ablative usually means away from, and accusative usually means towards. This is why actually the ah or ob uses ablative and odd uses accusative. Use that diagram when you're looking at the chapter to help you. Do you see what I mean? Like which direction he's going? Although they tell you many different times. Like they repeat it in many sentences, right? He's going from here to there. Okay, here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to keep working through this chapter as many times as possible. As many times as possible. Use my video if you try to get the gist of what's going on. And I want you to do the Pensum C questions. Right? Do you everybody know what I mean? At the end of the chapter, there are questions about the chapter, about what happened, and I want you to answer them. If you can answer them in Latin, awesome. If you can figure out what they're asking and answer them in English, awesome. I also have a sheet. This is active and passive. And I'm telling you, it looks like a lot of sentences, but it's not because they come in pairs. You know the pairs we did? So there's really only half this number of sentences because I'd said it two ways. Here's what I want you to do with this. If it's in Latin, turn it into English next to it. If it's in English, turn it into Latin. Now, I have a problem. One less problem. My printer is not working. I'm the one with the printer problems this time. Okay, and so I don't have enough of these for everybody. But here's what we're going to do. I already attached this to the email that I'm going to send out to you guys as soon as I get home, okay? So you'll have this sent to you. But I have enough. I actually want to keep one for me, sorry, because I can go over it with you next week. So, I mean, let's make sure Julia gets one. Is there anybody else who's having trouble printing things out right now? Okay, so let's make sure you guys get them. Okay, and then I only have one more. Okay, are you guys printing?
I think so. I haven't counted for a while. I think I still have 8.
Okay, here, how's your printer? Are you okay as far as you know? Okay,
Or you could copy it, like, you don't really need the sheet if it's attached to that, because you can just look at, like, you could pull up a tab of
this is true. You don't, okay, so you guys take, but here's the deal. If you need to just open it up on the computer and write it out on a piece of notebook paper and bring me that. Bene, it's fine. Okay, because we all, like I'm the one with technical difficulties this time, right? So don't worry about it, but you'll get it this afternoon. Okay, nobody's going to be without those sentences. And if you were without them and it was my fault, I wouldn't expect you to do it anyway, because it would be my fault, right? It wouldn't be fair. So I want you to go through the chapter as many times as you can. I want you to translate those sentences, and I want you to do Pensum C. Is there any question? Are we okay? All right, I'm going to shut this off.